In the online Britannica Encyclopedia, education is defined as the transmission of values and accumulated knowledge of a society. There are many philosophies as to how this education should be taught or transmitted. One philosophy is essentialism, which was founded by William Bagley in 1938. William Bagley was born in Detroit, Michigan in 1874. He graduated from Detroit Capital High School in 1891 at the age of 17. He entered what is now Michigan State University with the intent to become a farmer. After graduating from MSU in 1895, he had no land and no money, so he decided to become a teacher. His first teaching job was in rural Michigan in a one-room schoolhouse. He taught there for 2 years and then decided to dedicate his profession to the improvement of teaching. By 1898, he had earned a master's degree in psychology and accepted an internship under Edward Bradford Titchener, who is known for creating the structuralism branch of psychology. While studying under Titchener, William Bagley earned his Ph.D. from Cornell University. A year later, he accepted a position as principal of an elementary school in St. Louis, Missouri. However, after just 1 year of working there, he was offered a position at the Montana State Normal School as the director of the teacher practice school. While there, he published his first book called The Educative Process. In 1905, he published his first book called The Educative Process in 1905. In 1917, after 15 years of directing the teacher practice school, Bagley started working at the Teachers College in Columbia University. While there, he further developed his theories about what a teacher should be, and in 1938 he published an essentialist platform for the advancement of American education and became known as the founder of essentialism. In an essentialist platform, Bagley stated, "Public education in the United States is in many ways appallingly weak and ineffective." At that current time, the main theory of education was progressivism, which is, as we learned last week, is when the students learn how to think rather than what to think. In Bagley's new theory of essentialism focused on getting back to the basics. Essentialism focuses on the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic, which are essential to function in today's society. In an essentialist platform, William discussed the fact that oftentimes learners of the 1930s were far behind where they needed to be in order to become competent, self-sufficient adults. He traced this lag to the fact that many of the students were inept at reading. He stated, "Classes in remedial reading are now necessary on the secondary level to bring pupils to a standard of literacy that primary and intermediate grade instruction could and should have ensured." He felt strongly that a better emphasis on the basics could solve this problem. Bagley supported other educational theories in that he also thought that problem solving is necessary, but as an essentialist, he argued that it is necessary to have a basic knowledge of a concept before trying to complete complex problems. Think of mathematics, for example. A person has to understand how to add before they can learn the concept of multiplication, and they have to understand multiplication before they can understand the concept of exponents. Essentialists believe that the best way for a student to learn is in a lecture-type scenario where the teacher explains concepts and the students take notes. In an essentialist classroom, there would be very little discussion about subjects because the teacher would feel that the discussion would take away time that could be spent teaching more essential basics. In order to gauge achievement, an essentialist relies heavily on standardized testing. Essentialists also favor tests that are true, false, or multiple choice because it is clear to see the right and wrong answers. Bagley's ideas about essentialism have carried into the education of today. One example of this is the No Child Left Behind Act passed in 2002. This law mandated that all states would have to implement achievement tests by the 2005-2006 school year. The law also called for the states to calculate the school's adequate yearly progress to determine if the students were improving in the areas of math, reading, and science. I feel like the concept of providing a better education is important, but I think that increasing the amount of tests a student has to take is not a good way of going about it. More tests means more stress, and more stress almost always leads to lower test scores. Yes, it does carry a certain amount of motivation, but I don't think that the amount of improvement a child makes should be based solely off of a yearly exam. Add to that the fact that the increased tests not only puts pressure on the students, but on the teachers as well to make sure their students do well. Maybe this is a bad opinion to have, but I personally believe that a teacher can only help the child or student as much as they are willing to help themselves. As an educator, I could think of 100 different ways to explain a concept, but until the learner decides they are ready to learn that concept, they will not be able to grasp the fullness of that concept. I believe this because I have experienced it both as someone who is teaching and as someone who is learning. Personally, I agree with the essentialist theory in that I think the basics are requisite to be able to solve complex problems, but I also disagree with some parts of the essentialist theory. Essentialists feel that lecture and note-taking is best. I agree that lecture and note-taking is important. It sets the basis for the information on a topic, but I think that discussion and hands-on activities should be incorporated into the classroom setting. Discussion allows the students a chance to reiterate to the teacher what they have learned and ask questions about things that are unclear. Through this process, the students can grasp a better understanding of how a concept works, and the teacher can mold the discussion to fit the learning needs so that all concepts are completely understood. Hands-on activities allow the students a chance to apply their knowledge in a situation that is similar to the real world. It also provides the learner an opportunity to visualize the concept being taught. Overall, Bagley's founding of essentialism makes an impact on how and what we teach in the classroom today. The focus on basics is evident in the curriculum of elementary schools, and all of us have experienced that dreaded day full of standardized tests. While all of the theories that Bagley had may not be best, they have helped to shape the education into what it is today.